should go. I hope. I hope. So we just refresh. So it seems to be live on Facebook.
There we go.
Yeah. Should be. Yeah.
I can get there.
Yeah, so we are live. We are live, and so John, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
And the wine is arrived at you, so we are we are happy to see how it's going, the Brunello 15 and the Rosso 18. So I hope that everything. You had already a sneak preview of the Brunello 15, right?
That's right. Back in December, yeah, at the gala. But
yeah.
It was not a lot, unfortunately. There were a lot of wines there that night. It was hard to stay focused.
Yeah, no. In fact, we had this gala dinner in November in New York, and we were being able to show up a few previews of about 40 Brunellos, more or less. There will be in that preview, and it was really nice, that event. I hope that that now you have much more possibilities to get the Brunello 15 so far, and tasting as well the wines.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I just opened. Well, I didn't open either one of them. I Coravined both of them. And you can see here is the Rosso, which is absolutely a beautiful color. And when was this bottled, the Rosso?
The Rosso, so this is actually the second batch of Rosso di Montalcino. Our first batch was in September, released, and this is a second batch from beginning of March.
So it just had a little extra time in steel or wood?
A little bit more of wood respect to the first release. First release was really so fast for us, because I mean, we were running out of stock with the Rosso 17, and we got some difficulties to go over with some other Rosso 17, because we were not releasing anything for the Brunello 17. So
right.
You know, we have to balance the two things. So we decided to move forward to the Rosso 18, which is actually for us really good wine to taste, and to really juicy, for my personal opinion, and we can really get the best from this wine. It's mostly a table, we can say really a table wine, so you can really enjoying this wine so good.
Yeah, so you said it was bottled just in March of this year.
Yeah, the second batch, yes. I don't know exactly now which kind of bottle you have, because I mean, this is a supplying from Polaner, and I also take the opportunity to thank them for doing this, because we weren't able in just 4 or 5 days from Italy to supply bottles to you.
Right. So it says on here lot batch L19240, if that means anything.
No, that's the batch from September.
September.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So you have the batch from September, yes.
September of 19. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this, when I smell this, it's very complex. There's a lot of cherry there, some vanilla, there's fresh flowers, a little bit of tobacco and some smoke. I mean, right out of the bottle, it's just so aromatic.
Yeah, no, that's also our style of making the Rosso di Montalcino. So we want that the Rosso di Montalcino must be fruity, must be as well elegant, because we need also some elegance in these wines, and also it's one of our fil rouge to the production of wines that we do. So also you find the same characteristics sometimes in the Brunello. So our wines are more or less quite the same, but it depends, of course, on the type of production. So Brunello and the Rosso di Montalcino are differing for aging time and also for the age of the vineyards that we have, and also the wood that we use.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm just still tasting it. Actually, it's really got a nice long finish, medium body, fruity, cherry and spicy, elegant. It's very elegant.
This is yeah, for us. Thank you for saying that, because I mean, we always hope to have this kind of wines understood from the people in that way, and
it's very fresh.
Yeah.
So will we have the ability to receive questions on here at all from anyone?
We can have questions from Facebook. I have to check on Facebook who is live, and we can have the questions over there. So actually, I don't see any, but we are open to receive them. So that's, I mean, that's the thing.
All right. Well, I don't know. I had jotted down a few questions for you that I thought people might, find interesting. Access to picker. So before we jump into the Brunello, which I've also poured before.
Mm-hmm. So you poured the 1 hour earlier as per my instructions.
Yeah, about 45 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good too.
Even the Brunello was very shy on the nose, but I pulled them from my I had them in the Euro cave, so now they're warming up a little bit, and even this Brunello is starting to open up. So I'll wait a little longer on. So this is a question I had been thinking about, and I might actually bring it up again at the end of the month with Laura. So I'm curious, Montalcino is a small place, but it seems to undergo a lot of changes, and even recently, we've had from Banfi, Rudy Buratti passed away, and then Biondi Santi, and now Soldera, and you have a bunch of foreign investment coming in with Poggio di Sotto, Poggio Antico, and there are others, I think, even Biondi Santi now, and others that I'm forgetting. Do you have a feeling of the perception in Montalcino, in the town, and is it different from the way you perceive it? Because there's very few estates, it seems to me, like yourself, you're a small family winery, you're passing down, you're young, you have a bright, future and a long generation ahead for Caprili. But it seems to me that it's becoming less and less like that's the case. I don't know what you would think about that, what the vibe in town might be about that.
Things have changed a lot in the last years in Montalcino. We have seen a lot of changes, especially in estates where there wasn't an opportunity to have youngers that are going over the olders, and just also we have in the last 2-3 years some cases like that. Also Poggio di Sotto was a case like that. The daughter and the son of Piero Palmucci weren't able to get over his father, and Piero decided to sell the estate. Then we had Cervaiona as well was passing because the sons were not having the opportunity to take over. I mean, this is I don't see always as a problem the passing of the estates into other hands. I see also as an opportunity because sometimes we see that we have people, especially from Biondisanti or even Poggio di Sotto, there are people involved in the wine business. So to me, it's not really a big deal because we can also learn from them because they were seeing in a different perception also the wine business respect to our perception of doing wine business. And also when Banfi was bought from the American, they were coming here and learned to us how to sell the wine because we were not able at all, or even we were able, but was not the same thing. And they made the internationalization of this wine to the world. So they spread it out the word of Brunello into the America. And nowadays we have also need to thank them for doing that. But also the things have changed because the Montalcino producer have understood that we were needing a change. We were needing a change in doing our wine. We were needing a change in administrate our estates. So I think there was much more a knowledge from the Montalcino producers, and also from the investors that are coming here, because they are really trying to respect at all what are our also historic ideas of making wine, and but they want to try to give us some other tips and stuffs that they were doing in other or in other sectors, because sometimes we have also investors from other sectors of the world respect to what was in the wine business, or even some others that are buying from the wine business. So I don't see them as an enemy. Absolutely not.
Right. And I know from what I've seen, both from Poggio di Sotto and a little more recently from Poggio Antico, the wines haven't suffered at all.
No, absolutely.
Poggio Antico has always been one of my favorite wineries, and I had the 15 the other day, and it was spectacular. The white label.
Yeah. No, I mean, in terms of wine quality, I see in the last 10 years, also with the new acquisitions and everything, there was a really an upgrade of the skills of the wine growers first, and also in the wine making as well.
Right. I would pour more of this Rosso, but I took the Coravin out of it, and it was I do it again, and it was leaking terribly all over the desk. So I'm not going to do that. It still smells very good, though.
Yeah. And also you have to, we have to say 2018 is our first complete vintage of Noma cork. So we don't use any more natural cork on the Rosso di Montalcino, because also we are allowed to use other kind of corks. and we use 100% Noma cork because we see also the oxygenation of the wines are much better, and we see also we don't have any more troubles with corks, because cork actually, for having a good cork, we have to spend a lot of money, and on the Rosso di Montalcino sometimes it's not always possible, and we try to do our best in the past, but we had several problems. We are not having on the Brunello. On the Brunello, we are going on really premium selections of corks, but on the Rosso di Montalcino was not possible, and we wanted to have the opportunity to have always the perfect bottle, or we try.
Not a synthetic cork in here, though.
Sorry?
It's not synthetic cork.
It's a polymer of sugar, more or less. So is a synthetic, so in some way, but it's not like a silicone or other stuffs. But it can permit oxygen into this.
It can permit oxygen in.
Yeah.
No, I think the only reason it leaked was because of the Corvin needle. So that's new since this vintage, since 18?
18, yeah. Yeah, we had also on the 17, but just for a part, and then 18 is 100%.
All right. So maybe you can tell some people that are not so familiar with Caprili what's new there. You know, where's is Alberto Alfo? Is he with you? Is everybody safe? What's going on there?
Okay, so Alfo is still safe, and now is not working. Even it's 7:15 p.m. in the
working,
and so he is back at home, ready for the dinner. But he was working all the day, so that's that is really healthy.
So he's on the estate.
He's on the estate, yeah. Alberto was my great-grandfather, and and he died unfortunately on the 66 when the estate was just bought from 1 year, and we decided from the vintage 2010, also with the opportunity to have the reserve only from one vineyard, the Madre Vineyard. We decided to dedicate the Riserva to him, because Madre Vineyard was planted, was selected first. So all the buds, all the vines were selected from him. And then we decided to, and then he planted. But Riserva 10 was the first Riserva made only from that single vineyard, which is from 1965.
Madre Vineyard.
Yeah, the Madre Vineyard. And we don't, and we decided to dedicate to him the Riserva. So that's why from Riserva 10 you see written on the label Ad Alberto. So it means dedicated to Alberto, which was my great-grandfather.
And so he never made wine then at Caprili?
No, he never made wine at Caprili. He made wine for other estates, like, for example, our original owners of Caprili, which was Castelli Martinozzi, and also for Argiano, because along with my grandfather, they were working into the at Argiano at that time.
Oh wow, interesting.
And then the estate now is managed from my father, my uncle, and my aunt, plus in addition me from 2011, which I step over in the estate. So I decided to start to work here. I also studied in the meanwhile, so that's the thing. I was doing also university in that time, and I degreed then later. but in the meanwhile, I was working here, so I did both the things. And in high school, I was studying winemaking. You know, in Italy, we have also part of the studies in the high school. You can decide what to do, also part of your life, or you do a sort of a school that can prepare you to go over. So, like for example, scientific way or classic way, we call. Or even you just go for a specific area, like winemaking, like IT, like many things. So by this way, Italy is working on the high school, and I decided to follow my father footworks, and I choose winemaking in Siena.
So that was how old were you then when you were in what you call high school, that you started studying winemaking?
14.
14, wow.
Yeah. But no, we were not drinking wine at that time.
You probably were. With dinner, that's how you learn, right?
No, we learned that then later, of course, you started to drink, you started to taste wine, right. Between 16 and 17-year-old, when you are in the second or third class. So you start then to understand and to learn how to do that.
So do you have your Brunello open? It's starting to...
Yeah, sure. I have it.
It's starting to open nicely.
Okay, so the Brunello 15 that I opened, you see effect. Corvin is already doing its...
Mine's still attached. Just in case.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's starting to really show itself. The color is gorgeous.
Brunello 15, it's really a great vintage for all of us in Montalcino, I have to say, because I mean, there is no vintage in 5 years, probably like 15, because 10 was greater, 12 was greater too, but 15, I mean, it's really big and bold, structured wine, respect also to the previous two. 10 is more fine, is more elegant. It's a wine that lasts for a really long time. But 15 is also, well, we will do that for sure. By my personal opinion, 15 is good too, just now. So that's the thing that we want to say as well.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. I mean, this is not... I mean, as I only had the one sip, but you can feel the tannins on your cheeks.
Yeah.
So it can still smooth out some, but the fruit is so, big and ripe and juicy, but it's fresh and elegant. But there's power behind it, But I only have a tiny bit of Parmigiano here, nothing else. And with a dinner, I mean, this would be absolutely fabulous right now.
No, but even Parmigiano, if it is well aged, it's good too. Even.
Well, that might not be the best, because my regular store is closed, I think.
It's locked down.
Supermercato. But that is a lot of mineral in that wine too. You can taste it.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. It's almost like an iron component, like almost like blood, but not. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah. I can understand what you are referring to. Yeah. Yeah, it's really the thing of the 15.
Yeah. You think that's a mark of the 15s?
Yeah, it's a mark of the 15.
And why do you think that is?
Sorry?
Why do you think that's the case?
But that's the case because I have felt these in most of the 15 that I have been tasting so far, and I mean it's a really remarkable thing. Probably it's because of the summer that was a bit hotter than normal, and it's marking much more this kind of character of this wine. Respect to, for example, the next one, the 16 that we will release next year, is completely different, but it's a greater wine too. So, but it doesn't have the same character of this.
I remember when the I think it was the 14 Brunellos, right? When they were released at Benvenuto.
Yeah.
16. Was it the 16? No, that would have been the 17 Rossos, right?
Yeah.
So when the 13 Brunellos were released.
Yeah.
And everybody was talking about in a room were how great the 16 Rosso di Montalcinos were. They were absolutely stunning. And then came, all the wines from central Tuscany, you're not just your Tignanello, but the wines from Pergola Torte but just the Chianti Classicos from all over were absolutely gorgeous. So I can't wait for the 16 Brunellos. I think, like you said, they're going to be great. You can pick your preference. I think they're going to be a little more feminine, a little more floral, maybe a little more elegant, where the 15s will rely more on the power and the fruit and the tannins. But it's hard to believe that the 2010s are 10 years old already. They'll have plenty.
Yeah, they have turned the 10 in January.
Yeah. 10, 15, 16, even 12. There's so many great images in there.
12 is absolutely stunning for me, and we made a really great Brunello, but awesome Reserva, for my personal opinion. I know that it's, I am just saying about my wines, and I probably just advertise myself, but even, for me, 12 was really a great vintage so far. And
go ahead.
And also probably better than 10 from my personal perspective. We can say more in the fact of the Reserva, in my personal opinion. And then on the regular Brunello, they are both greater, on my personal perspective. And about the 15 and 16, I have a preference, of course, but I will not tell you until the 16 is out, and and that's no, even 16 for me. It's a great wine. It's an elegant wine. It reminds me a lot of the 6. So I would love really to see the 16 next year coming over and spreading out, because people will be really loving this, probably, in my personal opinion. But people
can come there and taste it with you out of a barrel or something. I was supposed to come twice this year to.
Yeah, you were supposed to come here, in fact.
And then I was going to lead a tour. I was going to lead a tour to Tuscany, which is going to hopefully be coming up, when everything returns. And then I was having just a family vacation down to the south of Italy.
Yeah.
So both of those are on hold now. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, we have to wait again, because it's nothing. Nothing is possible. And we have some question right now.
All right, great.
We have Eiki Henriksen. I don't know from where, but even
can't see it.
He knows me, probably is from Scandinavia, and sorry for that. He says that he has opened a Brunello 13 today, and he prefers the 13 in respect to other vintages, and wants to know why. I mean, 13 was you have to consider 13 for us was a third vintage. It was supposed to be a greater vintage, really a greater vintage, and it's really fine vintage. You can last for a longer time. The problem of the 13 was for us, just for us. I don't say to the other producers. Was the rain, and we dropped down all the production of the Riserva di Adalberto into the Brunello. The water that fall down in just a night was not good for doing the Riserva. So all the fruits of that vineyard were joining the Brunello, and of course, when those fruits are joining the small brother, it's always a good thing for the for the small. And so that was also probably why you felt really good with the Brunello 13 respect to the others previous, but not because they are less good. Also, we have changed some woods, so we have renewed our cellar and our wood cask, and so also this helps in the breath of the wine. We have changed the cellar, so we have a new cellar, and John, you have seen it. Fortunately,
yep.
that you have seen it. 3 years ago, when it was.
No, I don't remember if it was. I was there last June. No, last June. I don't think no, it was in 17. I was there.
Yeah, 3 years ago, more or less.
I came. Yep.
Yeah, 3 years in June.
June or July in 17. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember because you were just saying that was the new crush pad was just finished, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So then the 18 was the first vintage for that.
The 17 was the first vintage of all the sorting table or all the machineries for the harvest, and 18 full completion. Yeah, so 18 we can consider as the real first. And then we have Joe Drago, and who is asking, what do you recommend as the optimum drinking window for the Rosso? To my opinion, 7 years it's the drinking window of the Rosso di Montalcino.
Do we know if is he talking about in general or the 18? I mean,
I don't know that. Don't know that.
Yes.
We can ask if he is still alive. If he is asking for that Rosso in specific or in general. Even if it is in general between 5 and 7, about 18, I can say also 7 years without problems.
Yeah, the 18 is really vibrant and fresh. I mean, that was one of the questions that we can get to later. I was going to ask you about,
Yeah, he's asking about 18, in fact.
Oh, he's still there. Perfect.
Yeah. 18, 7 years without problems, from my personal perspective. And then there was what section of Ciro Pirone is asking what section of Montalcino are you, and what is what is the elevation and uniqueness of your site? So we are in the southwest part of Montalcino. We are facing the seaside part. We are 50 kilometers far away from the sea in an airline, and We are at 320 meter above sea level. And what is the uniqueness? I mean, there are too many uniqueness at my place. Even the thing that I always say to the people when they come here, it's almost windy, always almost windy. So we don't have too many problems of mildews. We have a great excursion day night. Consider during summertime we have 10, 15, sometimes 15 degrees of excursion from day and night, and that's perfect for the ripening also of the fruits. Also the windy, so it's always a small wind over the days. Over than 200 250 days a year it's windy at Caprili, so you still have always a good exposition. And the other thing, it's being also in the south, you have always wines with a greater structure, really powerful. Is also part done from the sun mostly, and but also the soils. We have a good composition of clay, and also the galestro. Galestro is this friable rock that is present in almost Tuscany, but even here is present too, and it's giving a great minerality to the wines.
Yeah, I think the one thing I remember when I was there last in 17, we were walking around the property, even in through the vineyards. It was windy, but what I noticed about that was there were so many aromas on the wind. I remember you had roses planted, you had the lemon trees, you had I could smell the cypress. I mean, it was wherever we walked, you could smell that. And it was actually an incredible thing, because I hadn't really been in tune with that before or noticed that anywhere else before. And there were some other, maybe it was wisteria hanging on the wall, or something that I could smell. And it was really pretty incredible. Not windy like, you can't keep a hat on your head, but just a nice even breeze all the time. So I think to even answer Ciro more, I'm sure he's been to Montalcino. So you're only what? I don't even think are you 10 minutes from the center, from the Fortezza? I mean, 10
more
minutes.
More or
yeah.
less.
On the way to
sometimes I'm able to do in 6, but even that's another part of the story.
I've experienced that many times. But you're not far from Castelnuovo. No. Oh my goodness.
Consider Castelnuovo here. It can take 20 minutes.
No, I'm not.
Just to say how big is Montalcino?
Sant'Angelo and Colle.
Sant'Angelo and Colle, yeah, it's about 10 minutes.
Yeah, okay, just the other way. Okay.
Yeah, but just to understand how big is Montalcino. Montalcino is 31,000 hectares in total, and from a side to another, it's a really long way sometimes. And and John, you know, almost know right now.
I mean, from if you're coming from Siena and you first hit, Altesino or Barici, Valdisuga there, from that point, when you're just coming into the zone, to someone like Coldorcia or Banfi, it's probably a half hour.
Yeah. 20 from 20 to 30 minutes, yeah.
Although the last time I was at Barici, Francesco and I left at the exact same time. We were both going into Montalcino, and I was with him. As soon as he turned and I was coming off the road, I never saw him again. He must have made it in 6 minutes, because I don't know where he went. He must have been in a plane or something. I'm not used to driving that fast. I'm comfortable driving there, but not like that. It was funny.
We are so crazy in driving, you know. So he is saying you are in Camigliano. Then we are before still Ciro. We are before Camigliano. We are in Tavernelle. So that's the thing. We have also to announce something, John.
Okay.
You know. Do you want to announce or do I?
You go ahead.
Okay,
it's your thing.
So on May 24, remember the time, John, because I don't remember the time.
Same time as today.
Okay, so
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central Europe time. We will be live with John again, but also we'll join Laura Gray from Il Palazzone. And so will be a nice probably aperitivo again for us, and for you, I don't know. It's lunchtime.
It'll be vino.
Oh, it will be vino. Okay. And we will be again live. Also for somebody who wants John, all the subscribers of John will receive from them an offer. We have just made 4 packages just to share with you. 4 packages, you can go from the 50, just the regular 15, to having also other greater vintages, and also some addictions from some olive oil from Il Palazzone and some Vermentino from us. So you will have both the choices to see, and they will be delivered at your home directly from the source.
That's right. And the thing that is great about that is, especially some of the wines that you're both including have either never shown up in the United States before, or in every case, they've never left the estate. So while I think you were both did a great job, with the pricing very fairly, you're getting an added benefit there because you're getting perfect provenance. And the shipping will be included in the prices, and it's hassle-free purchasing, really. So I think it's going to be a pretty special call. I think there will be a lot of people on that Zoom call. The faces on the computer monitor will be very small. And I think I have one on the 17th with other winemakers as well. So we'll see how that goes. But I think I might have to moderate that a little carefully. Otherwise, it could be a free-for-all, because we've had a few of them where we've just kind of, we're there to chat, not really to bring knowledge to the people that want to hear it. So I don't want it to get too out of hand. But I can see here now on Facebook, we have more questions coming in, which is good.
Yeah. That's Joe Drago is asking if we export the Reserva to US. Yes, we export when we do, because I mean it's not done every year, as I probably have in some way said before. We do only on the best vintages. So we did not in 13, as I said before, for the problem of rain. We did not in 14. 14 we did really 40% less of Brunello to respect to the average production of 40,000 bottles. We just produced 24,000 more or less, and so we did not any reserve at all. 15 will be is already bottled from November of last year, the Reserva 15, and we will release on January. Well, it's a really limited quantity, unfortunately. It's 3,600 bottles that we will produce. Already produced, but it's in around 100 magnums, 150 magnums, so not more. Some doubles, some 5 liters, and 2 12-liter. So that's all. That's all of the Reserva 15. There will be
for those,
and we will have a bit more of the Reserva 16. We will have around 4,000 and a half bottles for the Reserva 16. So that's and it will be bottled later in November of this year.
Was your production in 16 higher than 15 in general?
More or less, yes. We will have 4,000 or 5,000 bottles more. So we have produced 40,800 in 15, and we will have 45,000 in and something in 16. We are going to bottle on the next weeks the first batch of Brunello 16, and we will, because we also had the problems with this coronavirus, that we had all the commissions that you have to pass for having the ribbon neck on your top were closed for the coronavirus, and we are just awaiting. You were able to do also a sort of certification in just by the paperwork, but we were preferring the original one, so that we are awaiting just a few more days and then we go.
This 15 Brunello is absolutely outstanding, Giacomo. Complimenti.
Thank you. It's
just opening. I was gonna, I'll take a nap this afternoon before I eat dinner, but I guess
I did it this afternoon, so that's. But I was drinking. I have to say this during this lockdown in Italy, we got a lot of bottles to taste, because I have a personal library of wines from more or less not all over the world, but even from some specific zones of the world where I think wine it's really good. And today I took something not Italian, unfortunately, but even sometimes you have to understand the great wines from France, and I had some Burgundy today, and was really Sauermann, and was really perfect today. But then the nap after was perfect too. So that's that's the thing. I see there's also another question from Daniel regarding the Reserva between 10, 15, 16, which is standing out. No, is still early for 15 and 16. Good question.
That is a good question. It's difficult. I mean, I know I have the 10 and the 12 at Alberto.
Yeah.
And I'm not in any rush to open. I know when I was there with you, you opened, I remember the 2006, that was just a Reserva, not from at Alberto yet. You Coravined the 2006. And I was surprised how, open and accessible that was. So that was so it was basically 11 years old.
Yeah, more or less.
But I think you went down to the cellar and came running back up with it. So that was probably another bottle that had never left the property in the light of day. So,
no. What about those three? When we decide to make a Reserva, we decide because we see that the wine has an aging potential. So both of the three will be great in some years. All of them. 10 is 10 years old now, and it's still needing time, for my personal opinion. About the 15 is not released yet. The Reservas are always needing 2 or 3 years before starting to drink, for my personal perspective, but they will be greater in 5 or 6, both the 15 and 16. So you have to don't miss it out. All the 3 releases. Then if you are still able to take it in all over the world, I don't know where. In my cellar, there are some ones, but are not available for selling. And 15 and 16, when they will be released, my tip is to take one bottle and just wait. 1 or 2. One if you want to start to drink immediately, and the other one to rest.
So for 15 and 16 in the regular Brunello, is there any fruit from Madre Vineyard in there?
No.
No. Okay, so because this, I mean, it's delicious right now. So I can imagine, you know, the Reserva, because of your style, I think it will be approachable a little bit sooner, but that's not to say that it won't last 15 or 20 years in the cellar. I try my hardest to keep my hands off Brunello Reserva, and other, not just yours, but others as well. Because I think when they're younger, there's probably not a degree of difference between them and, you know, the estate produced wine in a good year. I think the Reservas pick up more complexity and more nuance as they age. You know, some of the, and in your case, what I call it, it's a true Reserva. You know, I prefer the Reservas like yours from the one vineyard, like Bonfils, the Poggialoro. You know, there are other single vineyards that they dedicate that space. They've identified it, you know, whether it's the age of the vines or just the exposure into making a great Reserva when the vintage dictates. So to me, that's different than just saying, okay, here's all our fruit, but, you know, this barrel tastes better than the rest, so we're going to turn that into a Reserva. Because sometimes simply aging it in oak for an additional year or holding it back, you know, sometimes that works to the detriment of the wine. But in your case, I mean, you know, like you said, you make the decision in 13 to declassify into the estate wine. You know, I think that's commendable. You know, not a lot of places do that. They could have easily said, well, we'll make a Reserva, but we'll make half, you know, instead of making 3,600 or 4,500 bottles, we'll make 1,000. Because we can sell it for more money, right? I mean, wine is a business after all, but when you make that kind of commitment to put the best product in the bottle, that's very, very important. And it is something people can understand and appreciate.
No, it is you know, it's right. It is a business, but it is also we want to say it is also a commitment between the two parts. So a commitment with the producer and with the customer. So we don't want to battle something that is not going to be, as in our idea, is perfect. So if the Reserva will be not good, and we will have some problems in the year ahead, this can cause a problem for our name of Reserva, and so we don't want it. We don't want it. Right. It's that's why 13 was not bottled as Reserva, as Adalberto. That's why 14 also, probably we were having also the opportunity because of the batch of the mother vineyard that then joined the Brunello di Montalcino was better than the other batches.
Right.
Also in 14. But we decided as well there was not having the real characteristics to be a Reserva for our personal specific, but not only chemical specifics, but also by the taste, by the color, by the nose. Everything is it matters for us for doing the Reserva. If we don't see that the wine has the aging potential, we just drop it down.
Right.
And that's how we feel about. And I see there's also Daniel is asking again, how often are the barrels changed? Well, the barrels are changed about every 15, 25 years. Depends on the size of the barrels, depends on the size of the thickness of the wood. So depends from multiple factors. And then also by tasting wines in aging, we see if it is drying out the wines. Seems to be that the oak is going over, and we are needing to replace it. So we usually 15, 25 years is the time of.
But when you say that, you're talking about the Grande Botte, right?
Grande Botte, yeah.
Not the Barrique.
No, the barriques depends. Barriques depends in the style that you want to have your wine, the composition of tannins of the wine. So it depends from multiple factors. So the barrique, but in general, the average time of a barrique is 7-8 years maximum.
But are you using Barrique in the Brunello? Not at all, right?
Not at all.
In the Rosso?
We use the bigger tonneau for the Rosso di Montalcino from 750 liters, and we use the 1900 liters barrels for the Rosso di Montalcino.
Yeah, and the Rosso that you produce, is it pronounce it Elex or Ilex?
Elex, yeah, Elex, and is a Sangiovese and just a stainless steel tank.
Okay.
So no aging in oak at all. So 19 has just run out from the cellar. So we have just bottled, and we are going to release in the market.
Now, are you seeing any issues with releasing wines into the market because of the virus, in terms of just supply chain or people ordering?
People are ordering, but especially from US and Canada. Italy, we have some distributors that are still ordering because they work with some online e-commerce, and so they just order what people are asking on the internet. We are seeing that unfortunately the Rosso di Montalcino has slowed down a bit because of course the restaurants are not working, and it's mostly a restaurant wine, the Rosso di Montalcino, because it's a really easy drinking wine, and to match with food is really perfect. The collectibility of Brunello di Montalcino, so the wine, that wine is always a request from the people, and we see in fact only request of Brunello di Montalcino. And then we have some private customers of us that are requesting the Elex, so the new wine, because they drink every day this wine at home. And we used to do also some bagging box from 25 liter of that wine, and we ship it out of this wine. In fact, in the last month, we sold around 4,000 liters of Elex in 25 liter boxes. So that's
really,
yeah.
That was a nice wine too, though.
Yeah. It's a really pleasant wine, enjoyable.
But wait, what I will say, what I wanted to mention before, and I didn't get the chance, when you were going over the packages that are going to be, debuted on May 24th, people should not view your Settima Vermentino as a throw-in, because that is a very, very good wine. And we didn't talk about that when we were coming up with this, but it was great that you put that in there, and that Laura put the olive oil in there, because it almost it becomes like a full, package from Tuscany. But that wine is really, really, really nice.
Yeah, so, Tuscany is not so well known for good white wines, but we try to do a good one. It's 100% Vermentino, and it's mostly the Vermentino that we produce in our Maremma estate. But it's all branded Caprili, so we don't have a different estate in Maremma. It's just 25 kilometers far away from here, the other estate, and from Caprili. And Settimia, it was my great grandmother. So we completed all the dedication. So my great grandfather and my great grandmother. And Settimia, the name means that she was the seventh sister on the family, and so that's why she has this name, and the wine was named in dedication to her. So it's just 100% Vermentino, just a stainless steel tank, no aging in oak at all for this wine. We have also another Vermentino.
Doesn't need it.
We have because we do two Vermentinos right now. We do the Settimia and we do the Tabernum. Tabernum is 100% oak, so it's fermenting and aging in oak.
I don't think I've tried that one.
No, the Tabernum is quite new. You probably may have tried in the Sant'Antimo Bianco version, if it was I was able to.
I think I did.
But then from the 17, the Sant'Antimo Bianco was not anymore done. So under that appellation, we changed it to IGT Toscana, and we do only Tabernum. Tabernum is the Latin name of Tavernelle, the just small village behind us. And we do also because we can call Tavernelle, because Tavernelle is a Banfi wine.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it still is anymore. I don't know what's going on with that.
I don't know too, but it's a Banfi wine, so we can call Tavernelle. And Tabernum is the Latin name of Tavernelle, and we just made this wine because the vineyard where we have the Vermentino here in Caprili is just facing Tavernelle, and it's just aged in oak, fermented and aged, and then released. We are releasing now the 18, so that's the thing.
See some more questions here.
Okay, so yeah, in fact, do you plan to buy new Marco Grazioli, do you plan to buy new vineyards, or is there any plan to replant any vineyards you already have? No, we don't have any plan to buy new vineyards. The problem even. We were having a great investment right now in our estate, in doing the new cellar, new facility, and doing also some investments in in machineries in the estate, and they were huge investments for us. At the moment, we don't want to buy a new vineyard. We are replanting a new vineyard. It's going to produce from that vintage. So from this year, we have the vineyard that is going to produce some grapes, and we are going to remove the older Riserva vineyard, along with there was the Mother vineyard, which is still there, and we are keeping as vineyard, but as a vineyard is now will be removed at the end of this vintage. So we are going to remove that vineyard this year, because it's not anymore worthy to produce from there. Too many plants have fallen down, and we are not having the opportunity to proceed anymore with this vineyard. We were already removing from 2010 from the production of reserve because it was not giving any more good fruits, despite also of the good health of some plants, but was reducing a lot the plants in between. And also, did you ever thought to expand to other DOC, for example, Chianti Classico? No, at the moment. We haven't think about expanding it to other zones of Tuscany or even Italy for producing. Nobody knows. So we will see in the future.
It really is amazing with a region as, you know, with a history as storied as Tuscany, how often vineyards come up. Like, I know almost every time I, you know, walk into a wine shop, there's a new bottle on the shelf, and I pick it up and I look at it, and sure enough, it's a Brunello or a Chianti producer who has bought vineyards in Maremma. Or I know Andrea Cecchi, right? He acquired a vineyard that was dilapidated and run down, that was being farmed by some person. I don't even know who it was. And Antinori lets a contract that he has with a vineyard expire, and someone comes in and buys the land. I wouldn't imagine in Tuscany, in Chianti, that people would let vineyards go dilapidated. I would think there would be people tripping over each other to try to get these vineyards. But it never ceases to amaze me how much space there really is available. So if you wanted to do it, I'm sure you could. But
no, here the opportunities are always right the corner. But I mean, we don't know in the future. Probably yes. I don't say no at all. We have to see. We have to evaluate multiple factors in doing a new business as well. Also, we have always to consider we are a small family estate. Even we are bigger, we have 20 hectares here around here and in Maremma, but we are not a really larger producer, so we are not having big things over here. And doing a new investment for the moment for us is a bit thought. I don't say no, as I said before, I don't say no for the future, but never knows.
So I see Cindy's question here. It is ILX, right? It's ILEX.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that is isn't that the Latin name for that? There's that famous Tuscan cypress tree with it kind of makes a canopy like an umbrella, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the Leccio in Italian. Ilex is the family, is the tree name in Latin. Quercus is the family name. So Quercus ilex is the botanic name for the Leccio, which is holm in English. So that's and ilex it's so the Leccio is also part of the Latin name of Montalcino. Montalcino is Mons Ilcinus, that means the mountain of the holms, so the Monte dei Lecci.
Mountain of the herbs, herbe.
No, holm, Leccio.
Oh, the holm oak. Come si dice oak is
Leccio.
Leccio, okay. Okay. So before we get any other questions here, I was thinking about the Rosso 18, and I went back, I was looking at my own website, my own harvest report to remember what that year was like. So I think there was, started off with a nice even spring, good temperatures, no threats of frost. And then in the summer, it really spiked. The temperature spiked for a few weeks. But based on tasting this Rosso, it seems like there was still a lot of freshness to the fruit. I mean, how do you feel that the 18 Brunellos, they're sitting in cask? How do you feel they're developing? I mean, I think 18 is looking like a pretty good vintage.
No, it's going to develop, for my personal opinion, 18 is going to be like 13. So it's
really?
going to be a good vintage to develop in the years. 18, I have to, this is a sneak preview. 18 will be Reserva 2.
It will be. Okay.
Yeah. 18 and 19, both the vintages in a row will be Reserva. So we will just take it off the 17. 17 will be not Reserva, but 18 will be Reserva. So was really great for us. 18 was a great vintage so far. We are so happy with the drinkability of this vintage, the fruits that it has on the nose. Also, this acidity that is giving to the wine this good life ahead. So that's really amazing for us, the 18.
Yeah, I mean, I went back and I looked at my report, which is right on it's actually one of the most viewed articles, so it's right on top of the homepage. There were a lot of really good photos in there that Brunello producers sent in, and I didn't remember it being as favorable. It kind of, I don't know why it seemed to kind of get lost in the shuffle, but it was very well respected at the time that the harvest was going on. So I think it's definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah, sure. There's Terry. Hi, Terry again, and he has 2 questions right now.
Yeah.
What are Brunellos do you enjoy to drink, and do you produce Moscadello? So we produce Moscadello. We are one of the 13 producers of Moscadello in Montalcino, the survivors of Moscadello. Yeah. And we produce about 4,000 bottles a year of Moscadello. Is a
half bottle?
No, regular.
Full
regular, yeah. Regular bottles, and it's it's made in the Tranquillo way, so half fermentation done and the rest remains as sugar. And what about the first question? This year there are too many. This year there are really too many. I mean, I was liking a lot the Mastroianni, all the 3 versions, so Vigna Loreto and Schiena d'Asino and the regular. Then I had di Tenuta Nuova 2015 from Casanova di Neri. Really good one is Argiano this year, the 15. And Il Poggione. Poggione is really another great production. And then
the Loretto and the Mastroianni at Benvenuto Brunello, they were both spectacular.
Yeah.
They really
Mastroianni is making really great wines all over the last years, and they were making as well in the past, but also in the last years they have improved a lot, really improved a lot. And about then we have San Lorenzo. San Lorenzo is a small producer, but he's a nice guy, makes really great wines. And then Armilla, which is my cousin wine. So that's the thing.
I didn't get a chance to taste that in December, but he contacted me the other day. He's going to send some bottles my way.
Yeah, so I know. We were in touch just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, so he's a good guy too. No, I mean, You know what? The only issue I have seen, very few and far between with 15, is that sometimes the alcohol got a little bit too high, and I think the grapes, it was almost like they're a little bit overripe, but you know, there's not a lot of that. You know, I didn't notice that in December when we were at the dinner. I noticed it a very little at Benvenuto Brunello, but with some of the wines I've been tasting and even the wines I bought for my cellar, I don't see it. I mean, you really have to work. You really have to work to find a difficult bottle of 15 Brunello. I mean, and this one is just blossoming right now. This 15 Giacomo. I'm drinking
so
more than I should. And I see Samuele Polari. Ciao bello.
Yeah, Samuele is
Are you on to new things, Samuele? You can write. I think you're on to new things by now.
Yeah, he is having new things to say.
It's time.
Yeah. And what about the rest? Yeah, no, I first wanted to thank you again for being live today with us. It was really a great pleasure.
My pleasure too. Piacere mio.
And we look forward to see you on the 24th. Would be Laura too. So it would be a really nice opportunity to share some other stuff with her too. That, in my opinion, will be really. It is also another great producer of wines, Il Palazzone, and then thank you for what you are all doing for Montalcino, because we know that you have a sort of fall in love story with Montalcino, and so we want to thank you for
not hard to do.
for being so a great fan from all over those years with us.
Well, it's my pleasure. So thank you for the invitation. It was great to be here. For everybody who's watching, definitely be ready to tune in on May 24th on a Zoom call. If anybody needs the link for that, I can provide it if you get in touch with me either through Facebook or through Twitter, or you can email me at tuscanvines@yahoo.com. I'm happy to privately send you the link. It's going to be a great call, and we look forward to that as well.
And then I just make some other informations. I am going live next week with two guys from Positano, from the Amalfi Coast. So Christian and Jenny, they are Weird Glass, they are tours that they do all over Amalfi Coast. And then on the 24th of May with John again. Then I will be live again on the May 30 with Amanti Vino at 4 p.m. in the afternoon Eastern time. And then on the 13th of June with Italy, New York. So that's all what I have to, all my lives.
Booked every weekend, right?
Yeah, more or less.
So I was supposed to go down to Amalfi this summer. So the two gentlemen you mentioned, they offer tours there?
Yeah, they do tours all over Positano and Amalfi Coast.
And that's what was the day and time for that?
It's on May 17, the next Saturday should be, and at 7 p.m.
Okay.
7 p.m. Central Europe. So 1 p.m. 1 p.m.
I have another call, another Zoom call that same day and time, but I'll watch the video on.
Okay, you will see on the
not live. But
you will see later.
Absolutely.
Well done. So John, thank you again. And thank you for the people that is still live with us on Facebook. And we see you next lives, or even somewhere on the internet, or somewhere hopefully soon in US or whatever.
Yes, grazie Giacomo. Buona serata.
Ciao a
Thank you very
tutti.
much. Stay safe, okay?
Ciao, grazie anche a te.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.